Yeah, Bismillah Rahman Rahim. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. This is Naeem here. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are watching this video. Today, I'm with my very good, my teacher, my friend, and my very, good connection, Dr. Herman Roborgh, who is basically nowadays in Pakistan, heading the Department of Religion and Philosophy at Minhaj University, Lahore. And I had the honor of attending some of his lectures, some of his classes, and I find him to be exceptionally different and motivational as far as the Christian teachings, his teaching ability is concerned, his thought process is concerned, and I learn a lot from him. So I thought to invite him today in this our series of Coffee with Friends, and I have started this series to reconnect with my international and national connections on interfaith education, motivational speaking. Previously, I have done an interview with Dr. Safi Khaskas from USA on Christmas and interfaith dialogue. And this time, today is Sunday, and this is the holy month of Christmas, December. And I requested Dr. Herman if he could spare some time with us so that we can share some of our understanding on Christmas, interfaith, and his experience in Pakistan. So Dr. Herman, welcome to my show, humble show. And
Thank
first
you.
of all,
Thank you.
tell me, you're from Australia, right?
I'm from Australia, but I have a more complicated background. I was born in Holland, in the Netherlands.
Okay.
And we immigrated to New Zealand when I was a small boy. Okay. The whole family went to New Zealand in the 50s. And then I came to Australia as a young man and stayed in Australia for about 8 years or so. And then that's all. I've only lived in Australia for about 8 years. And then I moved to Indonesia. I lived in Indonesia for the next 18 years.
Wow.
And from there I came to Pakistan. So yeah, and there have been various other little places where I've been in between, but they are the main two countries where I've been, Indonesia and Pakistan.
Pakistan. Yeah. So sort of you are a United Nations citizen rather than
like that, you could say. Yeah. A global citizen, you might say. Yeah.
And as far as I know, you have been to India also. Your PhD in Aligarh University.
That's right. Yeah, I spent 3 years doing my PhD at Aligarh University. Yeah, correct.
So as far as your experience and exposure is concerned, it's very hard to find a person like you who has an interfaith background and interest in interfaith dialogue. Because when you move around the whole world, you can see variety of different religious experiences in different forms.
Exactly, that's right, and that's what's helped me to be interested, to become interested, and to show greater respect for the teaching of the different religions. And
tell us your religious affiliation. Like which background you are from.
I'm a Christian, very much a Catholic Christian. My parents were very, devoted Christians and praying Christians. And I came from a rather traditional, you might say, traditional Catholic background. And I'm still very much a Christian, but I'm very open to and learn from other religions, other religious traditions. Yeah,
lovely.
Like Buddhism and
Mashallah.
Hinduism, Buddhism, Islam, yeah.
Mashallah.
Because I did my PhD on an Islamic topic. So, lovely. I mean, that's also a sign that I felt that was very important and very interesting. And I still feel it's very interesting. Yeah, that's still true. That's
lovely. And because a lot of people in Pakistani bureaucracy and in the elite class, Aligarh University is very, honored and respected. And I think you also from the same university, so their educational and their merit traditions are very high. But let me come back to Minhaj University now. You have been here. You established a Department of Religion and Philosophy, and also the teachers here, faculty here. If there's a subject from Sikh Mazhab, a Sikh faculty member is teaching Sikhism, and if there's a topic on Hinduism, Hindu faculty member is teaching the Hindu religion. This is a unique combination. Otherwise, in most of the majority of the universities in Pakistan, Muslim faculty members are teaching other religion, which is sometimes questionable. But in Minhaj University, this unique experience has given a unique perspective. Tell us something about this process and procedures and your experiences here teaching interfaith.
Yeah, I was invited here by Dr. Hussain, who is the son of Dr. Tahir al-Qadri, 5 years ago now. Yeah. And so he asked me, he came to Australia and we met, and he asked me to set up a religious studies department at Minhaj University. Yeah. And because Dr. Tahir al-Qadri has a very open vision for relationships with other religions. And so he felt that this should be something and in Pakistan, which enables different religions to come and study, actually in his words, or according to his own explanation at that time, was that this religious studies department should make it possible for a Christian to become, to get studies and get a degree by studying his or her own religion, like Christianity. Or a Hindu could come here and get an MPhil, which is a degree just prior to PhD, and he could study some aspect of Hinduism, and get the MPhil by doing research on Hinduism. That was the idea of Dr. Hussain in the beginning. So, and that's how it has become. I mean, I have now a graduate Christian who did her MPhil thesis or research work on the birth of Christianity in the Punjab. The Punjabi Christianity, she called it, Punjabi Christianity, which she felt was different from Western Christianity or any other kind of Christianity, that it had a special flavor, and she was able to produce a very good research paper on that topic.
And we hope to get in form of books for a public audience, these kind of topics, because these are very hard to find informations, basically.
Yes, true. Yeah, this is a new kind of subject. This person is going on with her studies, and she will do PhD now, and which she wants to stay in the same kind of topic of how theology it develops in a new context, like a theology of Christian theology in a Punjabi context or a Pakistani context has to develop, has to change. You can't just bring Western Christianity here, Western theology here, and expect everybody to understand it. I mean, it just doesn't work like that.
Exactly. And I think Minhaj University also has the honor of first time in the history of Pakistan, in any university, as far as I know, is to celebrate Christmas within the university with university students.
Yeah, that's been happening for the last few years now. Every Christmas we invite various leaders from minorities, in this case, the Christian leaders from Lahore, and we invite them to the campus, and we have a few talks, and we have some singing and some celebration by decorations and so forth. Also a cake we cut and eat together, and then we have further food. So it's a lovely opportunity, lovely. Which has been tradition which has been going on.
You also have organized some unique conferences which are very difficult, difficult in a sense that you usually do not hear this from other universities. But through this department of yours, religion and philosophy, you have organized few conferences with international audiences. Can you tell us something about it?
Yeah. Every year since 2017, every year we've had an international conference, and the first one was on religious plurality or religious pluralism and peace. I think it was world peace. Yeah, religious pluralism and world peace. I think that was the topic. And the next year it was something like social responsibility in all the different religions. Exactly. So what that was, And then I think another one has science and religion. The third one we had on science and religion. How are they connected, and how do they interact with each other? Science and religion. And then one most recently was only a month ago on spirituality and religion. Wow. We all had a virtual conference, which was very good.
Yeah, most of the conferences focuses how to live together, like one unity and one unit.
Yeah, that's right. I think how to live together, how to deepen our understanding of other religions so that we can live together.
Especially
if we have a deeper if we have a deeper understanding, then the misunderstandings fall away and the respect grows, and we don't live according to our prejudices, which we all carry, including myself. We all have, from our background, we have prejudices, which means just preconceived ideas about other religions. Now, these have to be, examined and have to be perhaps changed. And so then we can live together. Yeah.
I remember the conference on pluralism. When I was looking in the market, it was very difficult to find any book written in Urdu language on pluralism, because this was a brand new idea for Pakistani Muslims. Usually we think this is the House of Islam and the other Christian community or other minorities communities, they are living under our protection, sort of a thing. So the idea of pluralism gave the idea of equality. And sometimes this was very confusing idea. Some of them said that the idea of pluralism is like a foreign agenda. So tell us what is real pluralism is, and how can we accept it, and how we can teach it as a subject in Pakistani universities.
Yeah, I think that is a big challenge. That's true. And even now I feel that many of my students haven't really embraced pluralism of religion. They fear maybe that I'm saying, or that this concept, pluralism of religion, seems to be saying that all religions are the same, or something like that, which is not. That's not what religious pluralism means. Religious pluralism means that every religion has its own value and status and its own unique characteristics and its own contribution to humanity. But they're all different, quite different. And the more I study religion, the more I see how different they are, and but how they also can be connected, in various ways. They're not so totally different. There's many connections as well. But anyway, the word pluralism is I think, a challenge not to think that my religion or anyone's religion is any less or any more than the other person's religion, but just to see that my religion has its own value and authenticity, which will remain. And in fact, I will grow in my awareness of my own religion if I give value or respect the value that I discover in other religions. I begin to see the unique character of my own religion. So pluralism really enhances, if I really understand it properly, we enhance our own understanding of our own religion and appreciation of our own religion by growing in awareness of another religion. Yeah.
Lovely. And this is the same spirit of interfaith dialogue, is to promote understanding between one another.
Yeah, definitely. Interfaith dialogue is to promote understanding. Yeah. Here we don't use that so very much in the university. We emphasize more understanding other religions, properly, deeply understanding. The dialogue is another step, really. Okay. I think the dialogue is probably another aspect, if you like, another aspect of all this, and which is very important. But dialogue means that we actually ask each other to explain further, or that we open up a topic and we see it from different perspectives. And that's very difficult for people at the moment, for my students at the moment, to actually engage directly in that kind of dialogue. I mean, dialogue in just the dialogue of parties and cutting cake, that is easy, the dialogue of getting together and just saying hello on festivities. That's good and important, of course, but I mean, that's not really dialogue. That's just a social gathering, which is perhaps a preparation for dialogue. But the dialogue that you were talking about, I think, is dialogue in which we engage one another on a little bit on an intellectual level. On a spiritual, intellectual level, and that kind of dialogue is very rare, still very rare. I feel
exactly.
In Pakistan, but in other countries as well. In every country, not only in Pakistan.
I would say this is a cultural problem in every religion or every society.
Maybe. Yes. Oh, yes. True. Oh, very true. I think it's the same in other countries. On my experience, that there's no the interest is not deep enough. That's the problem, that we're not really interested. We listen for a short time and then we feel, oh, this is beyond me, or this is, I can't understand, or I don't accept, and our prejudices come to the fore, and we tend to cut off the conversation. We don't have the patience, or we don't have the discipline to really listen to what the other person is saying. So, I mean, this kind of direct engagement is very difficult. But I mean, to teach about other religions, that is a preparation, if you like, or it's preparation for dialogue. And I mean, I'm teaching about different religions, and I try to be a little bit provocative, so that people begin to think, and people begin to ask questions, and some questions are very good. And that is in a kind of dialogue going on there, because they are challenging me on a more intellectual level on about the meaning of different religious practices.
I remember most of the students when they came into this university to attend these courses and for the degrees, most of them never saw Holy Bible in its physical form. And most of them never saw the Bhagavad Gita, the Hindu holy book, in its physical form.
Yes.
Here, excuse me. Here, for the first time, they were able to read and touch and feel what is the Holy Bible and what is the Holy Gita. And this was a good thing because, as you said, we are commercially and we are in our education system, we are programmed to preach. We are not programmed to understand. And with this understanding, you have to have a very, courage to shift your mind from preaching to understanding.
And that's right.
And this
another word I could add, perhaps, preaching and defending.
Exactly.
Defending our own religion. Exactly. People means when I say people, I mean my students. They tend to defend. So then as a teacher, I have to think, now, how can I present this in a way that doesn't seem to be attacking or doesn't seem to be threatening their belief, their religion? I have to say it in a way which makes it possible for them to listen.
Exactly.
Yeah. So the challenge is for the teacher to overcome these kind of prejudices or programs, as you said. We are programmed to defend our own religion.
So this is a very interesting topic, how to teach comparative religion in Pakistan when the minds are like that. And one has a very, Sufi mindset to have a, to teach.
I think one way that I've learned is to be critical of my own religion in front of students. If they can see that I'm prepared to be critical of Christianity, and I'm not just preaching Christianity, and I'm not even just praising Christianity all the time and saying, holding up Christianity as the light or the great truth, but I'm prepared to say that Christians in history have done many bad things, and Christians are misunderstanding other religions, and Christians also have prejudices and so forth. And then I give examples of the way Christians don't relate properly with other religions. Then they feel a little bit freer then to say that, yes, we're like that too. We also have these issues of dealing with other religions. But I have got to model it. I think I have to model it in front of my students.
It's very difficult because sometimes it's to differentiate between religion and followers, and sometimes history and the religion teaching are two different things. And it is very good. I think it's a blessing for Minhaj University Lahore to have you as their head of department. So people can have a direct experience from you about their learning. Since we can have another episode for full discussion, but since this is a month of December, the month of the birthday of Jesus Christ, and let's talk something about Christmas blessing. Tell us what it means for a Christian and what is the message for Muslim and the whole of mankind for this month.
Well, I think maybe I could begin by saying that for Christians, Jesus is the manifestation of God. Jesus is the symbol of God. Through Jesus, the person of Jesus, Christians feel that God has expressed something about himself. The God who is, above our understanding and beyond any conception or any kind of language even. Jesus has made it possible for us to somehow experience in some way who God is. And so it's Jesus, the person is important for us. And for Christians, it's the person of Jesus and the way he discovered God in his life. I think that's for me the important thing, rather than stressing that Jesus is God or something, which is, in a sense, Christians say that, and of course that has a meaning as well. I wouldn't reject that. But in this context of Pakistan, where I'm dealing with Muslim students, I would not say that. I would say that God has revealed himself through Jesus, in Jesus, just as God has revealed himself through the Holy Quran. And that is a revelation of God, a concrete, a practical, something you can touch, something you can see and listen to. Now, Christians feel that God has done something like that through the person of Jesus, the actual life and teaching and example of his life, and then the example of his death, the way he died, and then we also believe that he rose from the dead. So he's living, and he's now a living reality, and even now what he is showing us who God is, if you like. So Christmas is the coming of God into through Jesus, the coming of the divine into the world through Jesus. The divine, which is the same divine for a Muslim or for others. It's not our divine. It's not something we possess or something like that. But it's the mystery of the divine, of the God, the transcendent God. In Christianity has manifested God's self through the person of Jesus. So we are so happy, if you like. We are, yes, of course, we are happy, and we celebrate that this person, Jesus of Nazareth, who was very much a human person, and we can't deny that. We never should deny that God has manifested himself through a person, Jesus, who lived in Nazareth, who was born in Bethlehem, and who had parents and so forth. So Jesus is the birth of Jesus we celebrate, but then, of course, because he is living, we celebrate the fact that he is alive and will come again, as Muslims also hold. Jesus will come again, So it's his coming again, I think, is also part of Christmas, or maybe more. It's his coming in that time of history, his historical coming into the world, and his presence now. I think that is also very much there. It's not just remembering an historical event that happened in the past. It's not, Christmas is not just that. Christmas is the awareness that this person who was born is now here and leading us or helping us to find God in our own lives. Something. Lovely. That's how I would understand Christmas.
Yeah, there's a Surah Al Imran, 3rd chapter of Holy Quran, where there's a verse, blessed is the day when I was born. So according to Quran, when the Jesus was born, that day is a day of blessing, because he came down on earth to save the whole of mankind. And we Muslims celebrate is his birth, he is coming down. Apart from theological differences, there are a lot of common theological concepts that we can celebrate together. And one concept is that according to Islam, he was Ruh-Allah, the Spirit of God and the Word of God. And he came down on earth as a representative of God to save the mankind. And he's highly ranked in Islam and Quran. Now, if I look at the 4 Gospels of Jesus Christ, the 4 Gospels in the New Testament, and if I look at the life of Jesus Christ, sometimes I see he's going through the same Pakistani society of his time. A lot of confusion and a lot of difficulties. And then I think how Jesus would have lived here in Pakistan today with the Pakistani community, and how could he would have maybe brought all of us together in the presence of God. And then when I look at his life, how he spent his life in the 4 Gospels, I find it a very, very ideal, role model to be applied in life, whether you are a Muslim, Christian, or whosoever you are. But his understanding of life and his addressing life itself, and I would say is revolutionizing the society around him. That is something we can learn from Jesus Christ. Apart from focusing on theological concepts in our studies, why not just focus on social concept, how he helped the poor, how he brought the awareness in the society.
Yes, agreed. And that is, you get that in understanding from reading the Gospels.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
As you said at the beginning, you have to read the Gospels, because the Quran does not give that kind of detail.
Exactly.
I don't think. Is that true? Yeah. So by reading the Gospels,
Quran is more on
Yes?
theological side, but detailed discussion and sort of a biography is in the four Gospels.
Yeah, sure. The details there, and the actual scenes of his life, or the events of his life, are there, very, very well presented in the Gospels. And as there's so many things, as you said already, there's so many connections between life in Pakistan. And one of them is the whole issue of the blasphemy law, which is a very sensitive issue. But Jesus himself encountered that issue and was accused of blasphemy. And actually, according to the Bible, according to the Gospels, Jesus was, condemned to death for that. As people here today in Pakistan are also condemned to death for blasphemy. So it's really, in that way, it's a similar, and there are so many other things too. Similar. I mean, even just the dress. Well, even I'm moving from the blasphemy issue to something more simple and something less complicated. But even the dress and the interaction of people here in Pakistan, I think, is similar to the way it's presented in the Gospels. Jesus must have moved around from house to house, from village to village, which is very possible here in Pakistan. You stay very easily in another person's house. You eat and drink there, and you're welcome there, and you talk about religion there, which again, Pakistanis love to talk about religion and have a good discussion about religion. Not exactly dialogue, but just to talk about religion. What does it mean? That I think comes across to me when I read the Gospels, that Jesus entered into these discussions that people raised. It wasn't always Jesus teaching them, but they came with questions about religion. And I think the people here in Pakistan also come to me and to others with questions about religion, and if you are listening and if you are attentive, then you'll get many opportunities to talk about the deeper issues of life that Jesus did. Yeah.
I think most of our issues and questions are related to our financial and economical well-being in society. Then those questions are turned into a religious mindsets. But at the root cause, there is always an economical, I would say, money-oriented, thought process. So I think by the time when our society, gets better in its economic situation, the mindset will get better, I guess. Because now sometimes people use religion.
That's true, but I think.
Scapegoat.
Yeah, I also feel that there's another similarity because Jesus lived in a society which was dominated by very strict Jewish leaders. We call them Pharisees and Sadducees, various groups of Jewish leaders, and who pronounced what was right and wrong, and who pronounced what was true and false, and people were afraid of them and afraid to deal in any other way. And so they came to Jesus asking, can we do this? Can we do that? Is it lawful to do this or lawful to do that? And are we free or not? And I think the similar kind of thing in Pakistan, in many ways, I think so, to be honest. I think often people feel bound and people feel kind of burdened by religion, which is not Islam. Islam makes life easy. Quran itself says that many times. So it's just the way people have interpreted religion that it creates an atmosphere of do's and don'ts, what is permitted, what is not permitted. And that seems to be religion. The religious issue is what is permitted, what is not permitted. Whereas Jesus came with a more fresh, a new kind of a joyful, open-ended response to that, and allowed people to make up their own decisions, and allowed people to go against for instance, the laws of the Sabbath, where according to which you weren't allowed to even assist anybody else on the Sabbath day, whereas Jesus openly did that. He assisted people on the Sabbath day, and then said that this is part of God's teaching is to be merciful and to be helpful and to be, So I think there's a message there which is not only for Pakistan, of course, but I'm speaking from my situation here in Pakistan, whereas I recognize the need for this kind of good news that we are loved and we are loved by God and we are invited to love others, and to help them.
That's lovely. Well, Dr. Herman, thank you so much for your precious time, and hopefully we will come again together for better some of the intellectual and academic topics. I want my audience to be well informed through you, your Christian background, Christian perspective, because if I speak as a Muslim, then again, this is my understanding. But
of course.
When you experience religion from its, being a part of it, not just the outsider who is trying to read and understand, but when you experience religion, whether it's Islam, Christianity, being a part of it, then there are additional experiences that you only get when you accept that reality. And I would love to.
Thank you. I think you're a good example of a person of dialogue as a Muslim. I don't meet so very many, and you're certainly one of them. So thank you for this opportunity to talk with you and to hear your questions, which are very good.
Yeah, and with your permission that we'll get back again, I would say my audience, thank you very much for watching. And next time we'll see if we can invite our audiences for question and answers, maybe if they can ask you live questions. And thank you very much. And this is a month of Christmas. Merry Christmas to you, to your family, and whoever is listening, this video. Merry Christmas to all of you. And we'll come back again. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. God bless you. God bless you. Thank you.